You've seen the posts, right? The girls' trips, the living my best life captions that always seem to follow a divorce. I mean, it looks like this amazing new beginning, total empowerment. But there is another story, a pattern that plays out so often for women after a long marriage ends that it's almost eerie. And that's the story we need to talk about.
Right. Because behind that perfect social media filter, there's a predictable journey that tends to unfold. And look, this isn't about pointing fingers or taking sides. Not at all. It's about understanding the psychological roadmap that follows when a life you built with someone else just ends. And once you see this pattern, you really can't unsee it. So, this whole journey, it pretty much breaks down into 4 distinct phases. Think of it like an emotional blueprint, okay? It goes from this incredible high to a really difficult reckoning and then lands in a new kind of reality. So let's just walk through it step by step.
All right, first up is phase 1, the euphoria. This is that dizzying, absolutely powerful rush of freedom. She wakes up one morning and it just hits her. I can do whatever I want. No more compromises, nobody to answer to. And man, that feeling is intoxicating.
And this newfound freedom, it translates directly into action. I'm talking redecorating the house, finally painting that wall the color he hated. Her social calendar just explodes with invites she hasn't seen in years. And then the attention starts rolling in. Compliments, messages, a flood of dating app matches. Every single notification is like a little hit of dopamine, telling her, see, you're not just surviving, you're absolutely thriving.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. This new kind of validation is totally different from what she had before. 100 likes from people you kind of know, it just doesn't replace that deep, bone-deep feeling of being truly known by one person. This new validation, it's fragile. It requires a constant performance to keep it going.
And that leads us right into phase 2, the plateau. Now, this phase doesn't show up with a big announcement. It rolls in quietly, almost like a fog. The constant excitement starts to fade, and all that novelty begins to feel, old.
And this is where the contrast gets really stark. The freedom that felt so thrilling before, now it just feels repetitive. The dates start to follow the exact same script. The attention that was so validating, suddenly it feels hollow. She starts to realize that being wanted is not the same thing as being valued.
And when all that external noise finally quiets down, a single terrifying question starts to echo in the silence. Who am I now? And this isn't just a passing thought, you guys. This is the start of a full-blown identity crisis.
I mean, think about it. For years, maybe even decades, a massive part of her identity was wife, part of a team, a unit. And now, poof, it's gone. That total autonomy that felt so liberating at first, it starts to curdle. And pretty soon, autonomy without connection starts to feel a whole lot like isolation.
That feeling of isolation leads directly into phase 3. And this is where things get really tough. This is the reckoning. It usually hits about 1 to 2 years out from the divorce, and it's when the full, undeniable weight of the decision finally lands.
You know, that initial wave of support from friends and family is kind of peaked. People have their own lives to get back to. The novelty of her situation is gone. And there's this unspoken pressure, this expectation that she should have it all figured out by now.
This is when a totally different kind of loneliness sets in. We're not talking about just being alone on a Saturday night. This is a deep, existential loneliness. It's the feeling of not having a person who is actively building a life with you.
And right on cue, her own mind starts to play these cruel tricks on her. Her memory begins to soften all the bad parts of the marriage and puts a spotlight on the good stuff. The stability, the inside jokes, the comfortable quiet. All the reasons she left start to get fuzzy.
So you've got the fading support, the deep loneliness, and a memory that's romanticizing the past. And it all builds and builds until it forms one quiet, absolutely devastating thought that starts to creep in. What if I made a mistake?
So after that reckoning, what happens next? Well, that brings us to the final phase, which we can call the settling. And this isn't just one single outcome. It's more like a fork in the road, leading to a few predictable paths as women start to build a new reality.
So what are these paths? Well, about 35% double down on what you could call fierce independence, building a life that can sometimes feel more like a defense mechanism than a real choice. Then there's the biggest group, about 45%, who start to lower their standards, settling for relationships that are just good enough, because being alone has totally lost its shine. And then you have a smaller group, about 20%, who feel genuine regret and might even try to reconcile.
So if there's one major takeaway from all this, it's this. Divorce isn't a solution to your problems. It's an exchange. You're simply trading one set of problems for a completely different new set. And those personal issues you had in the marriage, oh, they don't vanish. They pack their bags and follow you right into your new life.
You want to know who truly thrives after all this? It's not the women who just change their circumstances. It's the ones who do the really hard internal work. The ones who develop real self-awareness and emotional maturity. Now that is real growth.
Because without that internal work, everything else is just rearranging the furniture. You can change your city, you can change your partner, you can change your job, but you're still taking you with you to every new place.
So at the end of the day, the question really isn't about whether leaving is right or wrong. The real question is, are you willing to do the hard work of growth? Because that's the only thing that's actually going to change your life, whether you're in a relationship or not.
Hey, if this got you thinking, make sure you subscribe to Psychology of Love. I really want to know your thoughts on this. Does this 4-phase pattern ring true to you? Let us know what you think down in the comments.